Mick, thanks for joining us here at the Titanic Distillery, only a few hundred yards away from where you'll be fighting on Saturday night. I want to go back to the start and talk to us about what it was like growing up in Belfast in a boxing family.
I think, as you know yourself, like every kid seems to get involved in boxing. If you're from Belfast, it's a fighting city. It always has been. And I get into it because my two older brothers, and they were sent to the gym to learn how to defend themselves. Well, one of them was, and Jamie was dragged along. And then he ended up getting into it more than my other brother, Brendan. And I just wanted to be like him. Jamie, he's the oldest. He's the oldest out of all of us, and I just wanted to be like him. So I followed him to the gym. The coach at the time says I was too young. I was 7, so I got sent away. And I went and joined another gym. And then just, you know, he seen me fighting on like a club show and was like, get him back. And I had to go back, and then the rest is history, I suppose.
I imagine even earlier on when you realise you have a wee bit of talent. We all know what you've done in the amateurs, one of the most successful amateurs that Ireland's ever produced, but was the dream to become a professional world champion at some stage?
Yeah, like when you were watching the likes of Ricky Hatton and Prince Nassim and stuff, and the big nights, the big entrances, and the atmospheres, you were always like, yeah, I would love to be doing that. I want to do that one day. And then even in more recent days, watching yourself here in Belfast, going to the Odyssey, going to the Titanic slipways, and seeing it all and witnessing it all, and just seeing that kind of vibe, you wanted to be around that and wanted to be a part of it.
So you're back home now, back in the Odyssey. We all know what the atmosphere is like in there. It's raucous and very, very loud. I think most people, opponents, would maybe be intimidated by that, but this guy's a bit different because we've seen that he went to Leeds, which is similar to Belfast, and he took the title from a very good fighter in Josh Warrington. How do you see this fight going? It's not going to be an easy fight, Mick. No. You know what I mean?
No, it's not an easy fight, and I'm in there with a great champion, a road warrior who has went and done it the hard way on the road for most of his fights, and he's coming to defend his belt in Belfast, full of confidence after beating Josh Warrington in a very hostile environment in Leeds. I don't bank on the crowd making a difference or anything. You know yourself, it's an extra man for yourself, but against an opponent that doesn't really. I don't take that into consideration what it would do. But I've just got to be smart and box my type of fight. And he's very awkward, very unorthodox. But I think his biggest attributes will be his biggest weaknesses. Yeah,
I think that he's a good fighter, unorthodox, especially for a Mexican, not the typical Mexican fighter. But one of the big things that I had anyway with fighting in Belfast is people forget about the opponent and they don't care about how good he is. They just expect you to win because you're fighting at home. Does that bring its own pressures?
You know, I've been asked this question a few times now, and it doesn't, because I don't care what other people think in a sense, but in terms of pressures of fighting at home and stuff, I've been fighting in front of massive crowds now since my debut, and it's been crazy, and the expectation has been crazy from my debut. So I'm kind of used to it now. I am used to it now. There's no doubt about that. I'm not walking in this going, oh, it's at home, it's a world title fight. I'm just going to like, it's not a fight. It's no problem. I've just got to go and do a job.
Talk to us about some of the sacrifices you made. I know about sacrifices and being away from family and stuff, but you go to extreme levels. Like I used to see my kids every fortnight or whatever. It was difficult, but you take a longer time and you go and completely focus on a camp. Yeah,
well, for this fight, I've been in preparation from the start of February. So if I was to add it up, it's 17 weeks in total. I've been preparing for this. I was home twice throughout that, so 2 weeks. So it's 15 weeks I've been non-stop in camp, and it's massive sacrifices, and it's hard on the kids because you see their behaviours change and how they behave with mum at home and stuff, and it's tough on her. And she, you know yourself, when you're gone, your partner is a single parent, and there's nothing you can do. They can ring you, and they ring you for no reason, but they ring just to talk and get things off their chest, and it is hard. It's much harder for them, I think, than me, because I'm just being what a fighter has to be, is selfish. And there, being selfish for them, to put the work in, to be the best me I can be, to make sure I win this fight.
I think that's something that people don't really understand about the importance of having a good, strong family base and a wife who's looking after the kids at home. That's difficult as well, and that's something that can really distract you when you're in training camp too.
Yeah, definitely, because you know, not everything in everyday life runs smoothly. There's things going wrong here, things going wrong there, and you know, you're listening to stuff and you can't do nothing because you're in a different country. Yeah. So it's very tough, and you know, like they say in life, you know, one of the biggest and most important decisions in life is the person you'll pick to marry and be with forever and have kids with, because they can either give you, you know, great advice and do great things for you, or give you hell. So I think it's very important that if you pick the right person, especially in this career, because it's one that they need to know what they're getting into before they do get into it.
Well, talk to us about the fight at the weekend. We know how good Lopez is. He is the champion. As we said, he's a bit unorthodox for a Mexican fighter. Well, how do you see the fight playing out?
I see me winning by any means necessary, and I can see me stopping him. I can see me beating him in points. It's like I've seen every kind of outcome, and it's just a Michael Conlan win. You know, I don't care what way I do it. I'll try to do it nice and clean, make it a boring fight. But he's the type of fighter who can change that, and obviously does his own thing. So it's up to me to, you know, fight my fight and do it the right way and win comfortably.
And obviously, going back to the Lee Wood defeat, which you were that close to already being able to call yourself a world champion. Now you've got this opportunity. You're 31 now, Mick, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is this it's a must-win now, isn't it?
It's a must-win. It's a must-win. No doubt about it. And you know, the Lee Wood loss is probably going to be the best thing happening because it set this up perfectly. And I've learned so much about myself as a fighter, as myself as a person, how I'm able to bounce back from things. So yeah, I think it's the right time, and it's happened at the right time. I'm 31. I don't feel like I'm 31. I don't think I've shown any signs of, you know. I think now athletes can actually go further, and you know, I feel I'm in that position now where I'm, you know, probably at my peak of my powers. Physically and mentally.
I think it's so after a defeat, any defeat really, it's about getting confidence back. And I think it was a bit of a brave thing that you've done in the next fight. You fought Mariaja, who's a big puncher. Yeah. I think people looked at that fight just thinking, you know, he's going to win. But I thought that was a brave thing to do. Yeah,
like you say, when you fight at home, everybody just expects you to win and expects these opponents just to lie down and take their loss. But you know, Mariaja had 26 knockouts, and I'm only after being knocked out for the first time in my life, and I was happy just to go straight back in there and do that. And that comes down to like the work you put in, and I'm wanting to get back to where I am now as soon as I possibly could. And it was the right decision. It was the right fight, and I think I showed there my ability, my skill and stuff. And even in the last round, like I think it was like a little mental thing where I was the last round, and obviously what happened in the last round in the previous fight, you know, something played out, and I was like, Mariaga hit me a good shot on the head, and I was like, probably a little bit buzzed, but I ended up fighting back and win the round because I finished strong, and it was just more so, I think it was more so mentally than actually physically. Yeah.
So I don't know if the confidence may never have went, but you firmly got the confidence now to go and win this fight on Saturday night.
100%. I'm very, very confident. I know what it takes. I know what I have to do, and I know that on that leave in England Chancellor, I'll be doing everything I can to win. And you know, I believe I'm good enough, and I know I'm good enough, and I know I'll be world champion come Saturday night.
So a couple of fights ago, you were very, very close to being a world champion, and it all ended pretty dramatically and badly for you in the last round. How did you feel after that? I imagine you were pretty gutted and devastated.
Yeah, it was a tough one to swallow. I'd booked a holiday for 4 weeks before and stuff, and I remember we went to Portugal, and for the first 2 weeks, I just stayed in the room. I didn't move. Playing the fight over in my head over and over. Why did I do this? What mistakes did I make? not what actually watched the fight, just going through it in my head. Why has this happened? How? Like, I was of firm belief that I was going to be world champion, and you know, I was a minute and a half away from it. So it was tough to take. But then when I watched it, then we sat down and we spoke about things with the coach, and you know, got to the bottom of the points of, like, you know, I just made some silly mistakes, and that's what cost me, you know, what it was. And yeah, it was tough. It took me a bit of time to get out, but I got out of it.
And if you learn from them mistakes, then it could be a blessing in disguise almost at times.
That's the main thing. You got to learn from them, and you know, I could have just like went, oh well, I was winning, and I got tired or something, I could say, and like wash over it. But no, you have to go back and you have to, you know, fix those kind of little mistakes and little defensive moves probably I was making, which probably done a little bit too much at times.
We know what the atmosphere is like in the SSE. What's your ring walk going to be like, Mick? It's always like they're good ring walks.
Yeah.
They're noisy. People get behind you. They're very atmospheric. Can we expect something similar on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think the ring walk on Saturday night will be fantastic. You know, it was good. Obviously, I come out to Grace all the time, and then we'll have another, like a dancey type tune this time, and I think the crowd will go absolutely mental for it. And you know what it's like when you walk out there and that crowd just lifts you. I think when I do pack it in, it'll probably be the only thing I really miss is the walkouts and the ring walks, because the atmosphere and that experience of doing that is just, it's special. So to do it here in Belfast, world title fight, I think it will be a little bit special, but I just got to have that. The difference in the one thing I learned from the League Woo fight was I got too emotionally charged in the ring walk. This time I just got to be, like, as you have said many times, the cool head in the hot kitchen. That's the plan, to be the cool head in the hot kitchen. So yeah, I'll be good.
So is that when you get into the zone on the ring walk, or in the zone in the change rooms beforehand? When does it all start to feel real?
Nah, it's real from now. You know, from fight week, I obviously switch off and try to not focus on fights or anything. But you know, throughout fight week, you be feeling like different little nerves here and there. But where I probably most feel nervous is like lunchtime on fight day. Yeah. It's like I'm sitting there and I'll be like, oh, I just want to wake up. It's tomorrow and I've won. But then once you kind of get to the arena, it's like, nah, it's game time. You know, we're on. And when I'm in the dressing room warming up, there's just like pure focus. And on the ring walk, it's actually more of just like, fuck me, I love this shit. Like, you know, what I mean? That's the type. That's when you're going, wow. You know, this is what you do it for. You know, these nights, these feelings. So yeah.